Maybe you're staying busy just to avoid feeling. Have you ever had a day when you were incredibly productive? You replied to every email, finished all your tasks, cleaned everything up, kept yourself busy non-stop. But then night falls. Everything goes quiet. And there's nothing left to do. White right pointing back hand index, that's when the emptiness creeps in. You're not sure if you're happy or sad. You don't know why everything seems fine, but something inside still feels off. You just feel like a part of you is being forgotten. Pushpin and maybe, just like so many others, you're staying busy not to move forward, but to run away from yourself. We live in a society that glorifies productivity, where those who do more are seen as successful, admirable, even worthy. And slowly, we begin to measure our worth by the number of hours we work, instead of the truth we carry inside. Pushpin, but here's what no one tells you. You can be highly productive and still feel completely empty. You can keep working non-stop, just so you don't have to feel the deeper pain that's breaking underneath the surface. Bullseye, this video isn't here to criticize productivity. It's an invitation to pause, to gently ask yourself something far more important. Are you working hard to build something? Or just to avoid something? Speech balloon, if you've ever been so busy that you stopped hearing your own inner voice. Stay with us until the end. Because maybe, for the first time, you'll understand why the more productive you become, the further you may be drifting from yourself. Productivity is a good thing, until it makes you lose yourself. We grow up in a world that glorifies productivity. From a young age, we're taught, do more, and you'll be worth more. As adults, those who get more done, finish early, and master multitasking are praised as hardworking, successful, goal-driven. Pushpin, and yes, productivity in itself isn't bad. White right pointing back hand index, it builds discipline. White right pointing back hand index, it drives progress. White right pointing back hand index, it helps you create value for yourself and for others. But with just a slight shift in intention, productivity can become a very sophisticated mask, one that hides you from your own inner world. Are you working hard or just trying to fill a void? Some people seem ultra-productive. Their calendars are packed from morning to night. They're constantly doing something, never still. Any free moment becomes another task to check off. From the outside, they look like the perfect role model. But if you ask them honestly, why can't you stop? White right pointing back hand index, the answer is no longer, I love what I do. It becomes, because if I stop, I'll have to face the emptiness inside. Because if I'm not doing something, I feel worthless. Because if I'm not busy, I don't know who I am. Warning sign # productivity, when it no longer serves you, but controls you. Instead of being a tool for growth, productivity can twist into a defense mechanism. Doing more to avoid feeling. Staying busy to dodge uncomfortable questions about who you really are. Chasing goals to cover up the emptiness within. Pushpin, the more productive you are, the less space you have for the truth. Pushpin, the busier you get, the more disconnected you become from yourself. Bullseye, when work becomes an escape, not a journey of growth. Stillness is terrifying when you haven't made peace with yourself. It brings up emotions you've buried. It forces you to ask, who am I living for? What am I avoiding? Why do I feel successful out there but lost in here? And that's when you realize, white right pointing back hand index, your productivity isn't driven by purpose anymore. It's being driven by fear. Electric light bulb. So don't be too quick to wear your busyness as a badge of pride. Instead, ask yourself honestly, where is this constant activity really taking me? Am I working just to drown out the voice inside my own head? Part 2. Why does the brain choose busyness over stillness? You're not the only one who feels this way. The more you do, the more empty you feel inside. And the interesting part is, White right pointing back hand index, you're not doing this on purpose. It's your brain choosing busyness as a way to protect you. The survival instinct: avoid pain, seek comfort. According to neuroscience, the human brain has one core priority. Avoid what's painful. Seek what feels good. Pushpin: facing your real emotions, loneliness, emotional wounds, lack of purpose, is deeply uncomfortable. But getting things done, checking off your to-do list, being productive, gives you instant relief. Every time you complete a small task, your brain releases dopamine, making you feel heavy checkmark hash useful. Heavy checkmark hash in control. Heavy checkmark hash worthy. Counterclockwise arrows: productivity becomes a psychological numbing agent. Over time, you unconsciously develop a pattern. Feeling sad? Do something. Feeling empty? Find something to work on. Emotionally overwhelmed? Clean the house, write a checklist, dive into deadlines. Bullseye: you're not working to solve the real issue. You're working to escape the feeling. You numb yourself with constant action, just to avoid feeling anything at all. The brain prefers what's measurable over what's meaningful. Finish a task: measurable. Answer every email: visible result. Take on 2 more projects: everyone sees how capable you are. But facing your inner world? No score. Listening to yourself? No applause. Sitting with emotions? No visible achievement. White right pointing back hand index: so, your brain keeps choosing busyness because it comes with clear outcomes. Meanwhile, healing, slowing down, asking deep questions, feels invisible, uncertain, and unsettling. Pushpin: the danger? You don't even realize you're running. You think you're moving forward. But in truth, you're just running further away from yourself. The more you do, the more you disconnect from your emotions. The more efficient you become, the less you feel alive. The busier you get, the more you avoid the pain that hasn't healed. Chart with downward trend, and then one day, when everything goes quiet, you realize you don't even know who you are without the busyness. Electric light bulb: you're not broken. You just haven't felt safe enough to stop. The reason you chose busyness is because stillness once hurt you. You chose not to face your inner world because no one ever taught you how to listen to yourself gently, without judgment. Part 3: signs you're using productivity to escape yourself. No one teaches us how to feel. We're taught how to work, how to achieve, how to appear strong. But no one shows us how to sit with emotions, how to listen to our inner world, or how to be still without fear. Pushpin: and one day, you wake up as someone incredibly productive, but completely disconnected from who you are. Productivity as a beautiful disguise. You think you're in control of your life. But in truth, you're using busyness to cover the spaces inside you that you're afraid to face. You're constantly doing, but rarely present. So how do you know if you're truly living with intention? Or just drifting through endless to-dos? Here are subtle but important signs. 1. White heavy checkmark: you feel anxious or uneasy whenever you're free. When the meetings end, the tasks are done, and you finally have free time. White right pointing back hand index: you don't feel relaxed. White right pointing back hand index: you feel unsettled. Empty. Uncomfortable. Your mind starts racing. I should be doing something. Sitting still is such a waste of time. I feel useless just doing nothing. Pushpin: that's not because you're hardworking. It's because stillness makes you feel empty. And emptiness makes you feel anxious. 2. White heavy checkmark: you feel worthless unless you're doing something useful. When you're not working, learning, helping, or contributing, you feel like you're not good enough. Doing nothing means I'm lazy. If I'm not producing, I'm not valuable. I don't deserve rest. Bullseye: this is a sign of a deep pattern. You've tied your self-worth to your productivity. You only feel like you're allowed to exist when you're being useful. 3. White heavy checkmark: you do a lot, but feel no connection to what you're doing. You finish dozens of tasks every day. But by the evening, you can't recall any of them making you feel joyful or meaningful. Everything is just a blur of motion. You don't experience what you're doing, you just complete it as quickly as possible. Pushpin, that's not productivity. That's disconnection. You're living on the surface, but withdrawing from your emotional depth. 4. White heavy checkmark. You feel pressure, even when no one is pressuring you. You set deadlines for everything. You pressure yourself to go faster, do better, outdo yesterday. No one's asking you to reply to emails at 11 p.m., but you do. No one's demanding you stay always on, but you can't seem to shut off. Bullseye, you're not just working. You've become the work. And without something to do, you don't know who you are. 5. White heavy checkmark. You feel exhausted, but can't stop. You're tired. You're overwhelmed. Your body is calling for rest. Your mind is filled with inner conflict. But you keep going, answer another message, finish one more task. White right pointing backhand index, because you don't know what will happen if you stop. Pushpin, this is no longer working. This is depending on productivity as a survival mechanism. 6. White heavy checkmark. You avoid silence, introspection, and emotional honesty. You avoid being alone, journaling, having honest conversations with yourself. You dodge questions like, what am I running from? What am I afraid to face? Am I truly living or just existing inside a checklist? Pushpin, the more you avoid, the wider the gap grows between you and yourself. Bullseye, if 3 or more of these signs sound familiar, it might be time to pause. Not to give up, but to return. Return to a way of living that feels real. Not one ruled by silent fears. Productivity isn't the enemy. But without self-awareness, it can swallow the real you. You can use productivity to grow, serve a purpose, create value. But you can also use it to fill emotional voids, avoid uncomfortable truths, hide wounds that haven't yet healed. Electric light bulb, and only when you have the courage to look at what you've been running from can you start working toward what you truly want to live for. Part 4. You don't need to do more. You just need to live more truthfully. Maybe, for years, you've been living by a simple equation. Doing more equals being valuable. Staying busy equals not being left behind. Always achieving equals feeling safe. And day by day, you've become more efficient, faster, more reliable, in everyone else's eyes. But in your own eyes. White right pointing backhand index, you can no longer see anyone there. You've become a machine for producing value. A living timeline. A walking to-do list with a heartbeat. But you no longer feel the life in each passing moment. Your body is working, but where is your soul? You reply to emails, but don't remember what you wrote. You speak, but you're not really listening. You achieve your goals, but don't feel joy. You finish projects, but no longer feel proud. Pushpin, you're functioning well, but you're no longer present in your own life. Electric light bulb, the truth is, you don't need to abandon productivity. You just need to restore meaning to the things you do. Not doing out of fear. Not doing to fill a void. But doing because it aligns with who you truly are. White heavy checkmark. How can you step out of the cycle and return to yourself? These aren't quick fixes. They're small, quiet actions, but powerfully restorative. Because they awaken your consciousness, your ability to live deeply again. Counterclockwise arrows. 1. Pause once a day, just 2 minutes, and ask, am I living, or just running? You don't need a 1-hour meditation. Just 2 minutes, in the middle of the chaos, to interrupt the momentum and ask, is what I'm doing really nourishing me? Where am I heading, and what am I leaving behind? White right pointing backhand index. That's how you reclaim your life, moment by moment. Herb 2. Do less, but be fully present. You don't need 10 tasks per day. You need 2 or 3 that truly matter, and to do them with awareness. A meal without your phone. A conversation you truly listen to. A task you do not just to check a box, but to honor a deeper value. Bullseye, that's not slow productivity. That's soulful productivity. Writing hand #3. Redefine success on your own terms. Others may define success by money, status, speed. But what about you? If you live more deeply, is that not success? If you sleep well, feel peace, and live with intention, is that not success? If you never abandon yourself, isn't that the truest success? Pushpin: when you rewrite your definition of success, you free yourself from the trap of comparison. 4. Choose one daily act to reconnect with your true self. The act can be small. Write 3 lines in a journal about how you feel. Sip your coffee slowly, no multitasking. Sit by the window for 5 minutes, no goal, just presence. Pushpin: each of these is a bridge back to a deeper kind of living, where you don't just exist, you belong to yourself again. Speech balloon: remember, you don't need to escape productivity. You just need to stop using productivity to escape yourself. When you work from connection, not fear. When you slow down, not because you're weak, but because you're awake. When you choose to stay with yourself, even when there's nothing to do. White right pointing back hand index: that's when you stop running. White right pointing back hand index: that's when you truly start living. You don't need to do more. You just need to live more truthfully. You've tried so hard. You've stayed busy all day, completed every task, become the person everyone relies on. But maybe, in the stillness of a night without deadlines, you still feel empty. You still feel like you've left something important behind. And that doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It simply means it's time to live more truthfully with yourself. Not to run from pain. Not to fill the emptiness. But to reconnect with the reason you truly want to live. Pushpin: productivity is not the enemy. But if you never pause to listen, then the very thing that once moved you forward may slowly pull you away from who you are. Speech balloon: leave a comment below this video. White right pointing back hand index: I choose to live truthfully, not just do more. Because someone out there might need those exact words to begin their journey back. Pushpin: and if this video spoke to you, like it to support this message. Subscribe if you want more healing, meaningful content like this. Turn on the bell so the right message finds you right when you need it most. Bullseye: you don't need to do more to be worthy. You just need to stay with yourself a little longer. And then you'll see. You're not a machine built to produce. You're a human being, you're here to live, to feel, to be fully present.